Hey everyone, Norman with SoundTraxx here, and I'm sure you're all familiar with our TSU-1100 and TSU-2200 universal decoders, but you may not be aware that these decoders have a couple of hidden tricks up their sleeve. Now, I'm sure you're all familiar with the universal decoders, but what you may not know is that underneath the shrink wrap, there and there, are actually plugs. So, if we look here, we've got our current keeper harness, our 4-pin speaker and FX5 and 6 harness, as well as a JST 9-pin harness. So, there are various things you can do with this, but in the case of the 2200, as this is a JST 9-pin, it will actually plug into a lot of the older Athearn models that have the 9-pin harness. So, it'll just plug right in there, and then you'd wire up your speakers like normal. Now, there are other things that this is useful for as well. If, heaven forbid, something occurs with your decoder and you need to send it back to us for repair, you can actually simply unplug it from the model and not remove any of your wiring and just send the decoder back to us like this. Now, the same thing is also true of our TSU-1100, however, it's not quite as clever. It doesn't have the JST 9-pin on this end, so it doesn't plug into any standard models, but the point I made earlier about being able to simply unplug both of your wire harnesses and send the decoder in for repair by itself still stands. So all you would need to do is actually cut back the shrink wrap just enough that you can get the wire harnesses out. So around here. Now, when you're working with the 4-pin harness, you do want to be careful, as if you accidentally pull the wires out, that can cause issues. Now, to do this, all you'll need to do is take an X-Acto knife like this one, and you'll just want to make a small incision in the side like that, and then you can just start working your way around. Now, do be very careful here that you don't cut any of the wires. And then that bit is done, and then that's done, and then we can simply plug it out, pull it out, and then if you're worried about cleanliness, you can also remove the rest of this so that it's not hanging loose like this. Now, the other thing this can also be useful for is in a lot of N-scale models where you're space constrained. This can actually be a neat way to get a few extra millimeters if you simply remove all of this extra shrink wrap around the ends. You can actually get a fair few millimeters back if that matters in your particular install. So you can see that's already a couple of millimeters shorter. And that can, in some cases, make or break an install. Now, do bear in mind that when you do this, make sure to not go farther than I have shown here, otherwise you may very well void the warranty of your decoder. In which case, if you do need to send it in, the $45 charge will be applicable. So, that's how to get the most out of your TSU-1100 or 2200 universal decoders and how to access all of the plugs on said decoders. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us at support@soundtraxx.com or at 970-259-0690.